Okay, we are back for more House Flipper old school style. And we have a couple more rooms to... Oh dear. Am I being rude? Hello. Thank you for joining me. I'm so sorry. How rude. Thanks for joining me. We're back. And there are a few more rooms in this flooded house we have to fix. And in the last video, we ended with the thought that we would make this with that girl on the bottom on your left, with her in mind because she's like artistic and she likes a lot of plants and pictures in her house. So these are the two rooms I figured we could start with, the one at the front and then the one in the back. And then I noticed this, and I'm wondering, because this was in the bathroom door and in the living room along the wall. And it wouldn't let me fix it the last time, but it did say this wall needs plastering. So I'm going to try it one more time, see if it'll work this time. And it probably will. It sure did. Why didn't it work yesterday? I don't know. Anyway, we fixed it. So I chose these two rooms for the artistic redhead on your bottom. On the left there, the bottom girl. And throughout this, I keep checking on her to see if she goes up or down or turns green or red. Green means she likes it and red means she's not happy. But I take a few minutes to which room should I start with? And I choose this one. Again, my issue, like I was saying in other videos, is this nook here. Do I keep it? Do I knock it out and make the bedroom bigger? Do I make this room bigger? The problem is the two doors in the hallway. There's just not much room. If you put a door on your right there and you make this room bigger, it's going to be weird. It's going to be right up against that wall. So my thought after doing this, I'm sorry, I hope this isn't too nauseating, but I'm just going to put a little desk in that nook and I'm going to close off that wall doorway. Oh gosh, right there. Gotta do a few things first. And yes, this is video before audio. I'm not going to keep harping on it, but just in case somebody is new, when I'm working, I can't talk. I just don't talk. I mumble sometimes, but nothing comes out because I'm concentrating too much. I don't like it. I think it's boring. I make the video first and then I go back and record the audio and explain. Try not to explain too much what I'm doing because you're watching it. You know exactly what's going on. So like my thought processes and stuff. Probably the last time I'm going to say this. Now, when you look at this wood in the catalog, it looks very blonde and then you put it down and it becomes red. But I thought, you know what? Okay. I wish I was a bigger fan of dark wood. And it could all be psychological because every time I see dark wood, I think posh, old man in an office setting. That's all I can think of when I see dark wood. I don't know why. Probably from so many movies, I don't know. I watched a lot of movies when I was younger. And they were usually, I still enjoy black and white movies. I think they're so cool. But I mean, even as up until the 80s when I stopped watching TV and all that other junk, it just seemed like everybody's posh office, and it was always a guy. It was always dark wood, and I can't get that out of my head. I have to reimagine things in order to make it work. And I'm thinking for this particular room, this isn't a bedroom. This is going to be like a work space, not so much an office, since I could be wrong about her being artistic, but I thought she loved plants and pictures. That doesn't necessarily make her artistic, but I'm going to make her artistic. So I'm going with light colors so that they're not too distracting from work. If you are painting, I do not know who is racing up and down my street, but I apologize for it. I'm going to assume it's the workers on the main road around the corner. They're driving their trucks through. But it figures the minute I start recording, everybody comes out of the woodwork. Oh, is she recording now? Well, let's make a lot of noise. For me, maybe only, nobody else thinks this way, but I figure if you're being artistic and creative, you want a calm place, but you also want like a muted place so it's not distracting you from the colors that are in your imagination, in your head. So if the room was super vibrant, I don't know that you'd get much work done. And that doesn't mean I can't make the living room and the hallway vibrant. But the workspace itself, I think, should be muted. And that's why I'm going with these colors. So I hope that's all right with everybody. And you know what? You're welcome. More than welcome to let me know in the comments if you think I'm going in the wrong direction, in the right direction, what you would have done, what you would have changed, what you liked, what you didn't. As long as you're nice about it, you don't need to tell me I'm crap, because I already know that. But constructive criticism and helpful advice, I'm always down for that. Go for it. It also helps me kind of go up in the ranks on YouTube. The more comments a video gets, the more YouTube will distribute it. Same thing with likes. I had no idea, but the more likes you get on a video, the more they're willing to share your work with the world. And that would help me out a lot. It's only been, 7 years now? 7 years. Well, off and on. In 2009, I went back to university, and I had to make a Facebook page. I was so reluctant to do that. I had to make a Facebook page, and I can't remember what else was out at the time. And then there was YouTube. And two of my teachers really harped on it. They were thinking more along the lines of marketing yourself. Like if you were a writer, you should have a YouTube channel and promote yourself that way. I thought it was strange because I was on YouTube before 2009. And I thought it was kind of funny because in one of the classes, of course, I was probably the oldest student in there, so I was really reluctant to get involved. And it was horrible because I had never before in classrooms experienced the group think mentality, which was rampant at that time. Every project that the teacher wanted you to do had to be done in a group. And of course, everybody ganged up and picked out their sides, and here's me sitting there going, yeah, nobody wants to work with the old lady. It was embarrassing. It was horrible. So the professor would always have to come up and go, well, why don't you go work over there? There's only 3. And I'm like, you really think they want me with them? Oh, it was horrible. But I had to slog my way through that. That's beside the point. In one of the classes, she was harping on YouTube, and I don't believe TikTok was around at that time. I have no idea when that even came into existence, but she had asked something like, is anybody familiar with YouTube? And I raised my hand because before that I was in Crunchyroll, watching a lot of anime and Korean and Japanese dramas. I loved them. I couldn't get enough of that stuff. Excuse me, I need water. Sorry about that. And her eyes kind of popped out when I raised my hand. She goes, "You know what YouTube is?" I'm like, yeah, surprise, surprise. I was around at the launch of the personal computer. I've been on them since, what was it, 1980, 90, 89, 91? Yeah, I've always had a computer. I'm not that stupid. But Crunchyroll liked feature things, like one snapshot of a Japanese drama, and they would just run with it. So I started taking snippets from those videos that I was watching, and I just compile them onto YouTube. And you could do that at that time. And then I started doing music. I just put my favorite song on there with a bunch of images that I found on the internet, and I made videos that way. And this one guy, oh my gosh, it was the rudest. I'm confused about those lamps at this point because I could have swore I said white, and they kind of look white until you turn them on and then they go black. I'm like, I did choose white, right? I may have put way too much light in this room, but I think it's necessary. I just couldn't figure out a good combination for them, and I love those lamps. I love the wall lights and the floor lamps. I think they're pretty. Anyway, sorry. Not that what I'm talking about is all that interesting. The professor was shocked that I, of all students, knew what YouTube was, and that I had actually been on it. And she said, "Really? Well, what do you do? What do you promote on YouTube?" Like, I don't promote anything. And I started to say, well, right now I'm just making music videos. And then I was going to explain how I started. And this guy is sitting just a couple chairs down at the table. He went, "Music." I'm like, oh my gosh. And I just kind of glanced at him like, "Have you got something to say?" And he refused to look at me. I'm like, "You don't have a mama, do you? Because you have no manners at all. Shame on you." Oh, disrespectful little poop. Why was I talking about this? How did we get on YouTube? Oh, wow. This is going way back. At that time, you could do anything you wanted. You didn't get paid. Well, actually, they had that AdSense nonsense, which I always thought was nonsense because it was pennies on the dollar. I'm like, what is the point of this? But Google, their blog place, it had the same thing. I had AdSense. I'm like, that better not be the only laptop. That is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life. And it's probably that dumb Cyberpunk. Why I have that, I couldn't tell you. All I can say is it must have been free, or it came with the garden, because that I would not have wanted. It was probably one of those bundle things. You get gardening and then they give you some free stuff. I don't know why I would have that otherwise, so it's not my cup of tea at all. Yes, I struggled with these pictures immensely, because even when you say small, that's small. Can you imagine what an extra large would look like? Well, large. But it took me a long time to find the right pictures for the wall. I wanted something to complement that corner building shot, and it fit perfectly on one side of the wall lamp. I could not find anything to go on the right side. See? And that's a small. It's crazy. I don't get it. Look how big they are. And I'm not getting rid of my lamp for you. But I like that that was city type, like the one I had on the left. So that's why I kept looking and looking and looking. This is a lot of going through the catalog and trying to find the right thing. I have such a hard time with wood. I grew up in a wooden house, that's why. Every inch of this house is covered in wood. And I just don't care for it anymore. Yes, I stuck it down there, and I'm not going to apologize. It actually fit, and that's where it went. It's too bad they don't have like stacking pictures that you could set against the wall. That would have looked really cool. Yeah, this one here, it fit perfectly. And then I could not find anything that would complement it. So sad. But I like the way the room turned out. In the end, you'll see that, obviously. The problem, again, that I always have is accessories. Accessorizing, I'm not saying they don't have enough, and maybe they don't have enough, but I don't want to complain. I'm just never sure what would go where. I put a shelf down that had cubbies in it, open cubbies. And a lot of nice things would fit in those cubbies. But I could hardly even get plants in there, which I did keep going for, because every time I chose a plant, see how she keeps going up with paintings and plants? But I can't get rid of Grandpa and Grandma. And I have a feeling, despite all this work I'm doing, they're going to be the highest bidders. Do I have to choose the highest bidder, or I don't know. That's a thought. We'll have to see when it comes time to bid on the house. I don't really need the money. I'm kind of going through it, but not by too much. I'm still at $400,000, so. But the accessories for those cubbies, you go to, what is it called? Statues and vases and things like that. All too big. You select small and it comes out and it doesn't fit in the cubby. So maybe I'm not looking in the right places for things to put. I don't know. I keep telling myself, you got to go through this game again and figure out where everything is. And I always forget. I just want to get into the game and start playing it, which is a good sign because I am enjoying this. Maybe I just needed a kick in the rear to get going. That's usually the case. I thought I would be more familiar with where things were, and I'm just not. I always struggle. It's like, well, aren't those gorgeous? They're so pretty. And I'm like, well, I just spent all that time decorating the walls, and now I'm going to hide them with the planters, but gosh, I like those. I really like those. So I hung up a couple, and I do end up having to rearrange things throughout. There was one plant, the mother-in-law's tongue. It was so cool, and it was in a huge vase, even though I chose small, but I really wanted it in this room. And I just couldn't get it to fit. I was very sad. That's coming up. I'm talking about things that haven't even happened yet. I apologize. So at this point, I'm just trying to figure out what to put in the room while watching on the left side of the screen. Is she liking this or not? She did go up. She eventually ends up in second place. So I'm worried. It's like, well, what about Grandpa and Grandma there? I'm kind of making the house not for Grandpa and Grandma. Because I'm pretty sure Grandpa and Grandma want a place for their grandchildren to, when they visit. And there's no place like that in here. See, look at this. I really like that. I used to have those all over my house. It's supposed to be good for purifying the air, getting rid of toxins and stuff in the air. Pollution and pollen and things. And I just can't. Oh, so sad. Really like it. Well, you know what? We can put it in the living room. I should have kept it. See, it did fit there. Then I had to move this. It's like, oh no. But it just didn't work out in the end because I lost my lamp, my floor lamp, and I had to have that. That whole corner got really dark when I took it out. And I wasn't happy. So things change again, at least 5 times. Because see, now I can't put the floor lamp back. Then I had to move the plant to get the picture back on the wall. Why? I don't know. That seems like a strange mechanic to me. Just because the plant is there, that doesn't mean I can't continue. See, I didn't mind that at all. I have no problems with that, but I want the lamp back. It's just it got too dark. And this didn't work. Just kind of moved the plant again. That's all I really did. Back and forth and back and forth. Okay, I think I'm choosing the right things for the room. But I don't know that I chose enough. Yeah, I put the lamp and that ceiling thing back, wall. But see, now we got this huge open corner here, and you can't use things that are too big. And small to me, apparently, is not small to the game. Yeah, I was a little disappointed there as well. Going back to the House Flipper 2 functions, you can use your gun to duplicate things in House Flipper 2, and it would have been very handy to just duplicate that lamp. And instead, I had to go back into the tablet and find it. And not that big of a deal. But it does seem like a pretty cool mechanic. I wish they would put it in both games, you know? That would be nice. But I think I mentioned early on that it does say on House Flipper 2 that Frozen District and some other company name made House Flipper 2. But my thinking is, because if I'm not mistaken, House Flipper 2 is South African or South American. House Flipper 1 is Polish. And you can see it in the design choices. So, I don't know. I had no idea what this was. And I got halfway down there and I'm like, oh, I'm changing the lights. See, I look at the color, I don't see the words. I look at the words, I don't see the color. That's how, I guess you could call it being focused, but I guess you could also call it being very weird. Just weird, not functioning properly. So I think at this point, the only thing we've got left to do are the windows. I do want to put blinds up. I like that cat. That cat is so cute. I went back and got the cat. I didn't want to go with Venetian blinds. I think we're going to use the Roman shades in a muted tone. I think we also need a chair for that desk, right? I did put a laptop down, but I didn't want to go crazy with it. My daughter is very artistic, and 90% of her work is done on her laptop, but she also draws freehand. So that's the way I was thinking of setting up this room. Not the most stylish of rugs, but I like the color. Well, how do I say this? It's very muted. And again, that's what I'm going for in this room, is muted, calm, soothing, not jarring colors. Yeah, so we need a chair for that desk. I hadn't put much pale blue in here, so I thought I would do that. And I think it's coming along nicely. It doesn't look too bad to me. I don't know what you guys think. You can let me know. Yeah, we're going to go down to the Roman shades this time and try to find a muted color that isn't white. So the chair and the blinds are that blue color, which look dark until you hang them up and then they turn pale. But, not too bad. I don't think so. I'm just trying to find more things for these cubbies and I don't know what to choose. I went down to hobbies here. Now, I thought books would be okay. And she didn't react to them at all. The guy in the middle did because he's the office guy. I want an office with a lot of places for my books. So I kind of ignored the book thing. And then I saw those and I'm like, perfect. She didn't react to this either. And I'm like, what do I do? And these windowsills, you can put something right on the edge of them. And that's it. So something has changed along the way in the 2 years that I've been gone. Because I know I used to be able to put things on the window ledges and now I can't. So I got a little one and a big one, which is what my daughter does. She has a little bit of both. Because I'm not artistic at all. But I don't think it looks too bad. I gave up on the cubbies. I just, plants. That's about all I can think of. And by the way, she stopped reacting to plants, but she continues to react to pictures on the wall. So I'll have to think about that for the bedroom and the living room. But I'm very worried that Grandpa and Grandma are going to take this from her and it's going to disappoint me. It's not what I want Grandpa and Grandma to have. But I have to see if I'm able to choose a lesser bid and give it to the redhead. See if that's okay. That's it. This is the room. I hope you guys like the way it turned out. I'm happy with it. I think it's very cozy looking. So the next room, I guess, would be her bedroom. We still have a hallway and the big living room. And I do want to go outside and see what I can do out there. I think we're in need of some very big shade trees and a place to barbecue, hang out, but no kid stuff. So maybe a flower bed or two, a hammock, whatever they have. And we have to think about that clothesline as well. I hope I don't forget that. See, I put the kitty there. It looks just like our shadow. So that would be the hallway, the bedroom, the living room, and the yard. And it's a pretty big size lot. There's a lot to do. So I'm hoping they do still have the large shade trees that we can choose. Yeah, so this would have to be the bedroom. I can't think of what else it would be. I might do that one next. I'm not sure. I want to look out in the yard, take a really good look at it. Maybe we'll do that next. Just to get it out of the way, get it out of my head so I can go back to thinking, this is what we need to do next. Or we may end up in this room and just continue. But I thank you very much for sticking with me to the end. I hope you enjoyed this. Like the video if you did. Subscribe if you're interested. Take good care of yourselves. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.